Okay, so picture this election's heating up, right? And instead of diving into policies, everybody's suddenly a medical expert
Right.
poring over the candidate's latest checkups.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's really interesting how these health disclosures have become like a whole campaign strategy now.
Totally. It's not just about transparency anymore. It's like this whole game of shaping
It
narratives
is.
and controlling how voters see, like, is this person even healthy enough to be president?
Exactly. Fitness for office. That's the key phrase.
So that is exactly what we're diving into today.
Let's do it.
We're looking at news coverage from October 2024, specifically this Daily Beast article that breaks down the health of the two main contenders, Trump and Harris.
Right.
And their approaches are like night and day.
Yeah, this is what makes this so fascinating to me. We've got these two completely opposite strategies playing out. So you've got Vice President Harris and her team. They released this crazy detailed medical report from her physician.
Oh, wow.
Dr. Joshua Simmons.
Okay.
And he's been her primary care physician for years now.
I see.
And this report, it's all glowing. It paints this picture of perfect health. Excellent on all fronts.
It's giving very much nothing to hide energy.
Right.
Like, here's
Go on,
everything
Karen, see.
down to, like, the fact that she's nearsighted.
Yeah, they're putting it all out there for voters. You know, Harris exercises, she's got a good diet.
Right. Loves her veggies.
Exactly. Besides, like, minor things, like you said, the nearsightedness, some seasonal allergies,
Right.
the report is really pushing this image of vitality.
Okay. But I do have to say the timing of it all seems a little calculated, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Releasing this just weeks before the election.
Weeks. Yeah, it's all about timing. That's a huge part of this whole strategy.
Right.
Releasing this clean bill of health this close to the election, it's their way to control the story, get ahead of any whispers or rumors.
Especially since her opponent is, well, let's just say he tends to keep things interesting.
Let's just say that's one way to put it.
A man of few words.
Precisely. And this brings us to the other side of the ring, President Trump. And what's fascinating is he's doing the exact opposite of Harris's detailed approach.
Right.
Trump is going with his classic move, bold statements, no real proof.
It's his brand at this point.
It really is.
Okay.
He insists he's in perfect and excellent health, especially after, you know, that assassination attempt where he got grazed by a bullet.
Oh, right.
But when it comes to showing actual medical records, crickets.
So basically, 2016 all over again.
Deja vu.
He had that doctor, what's his name?
Dr. Ronnie Jackson.
Dr. Ronnie Jackson, yes.
Who, to be fair, was his White House physician back then.
Right, of course.
But he released this super positive letter about Trump's health, but
Right.
also like incredibly vague.
It's totally useless.
Right.
And now the only proof is from the same Dr. Jackson,
Interesting.
whose medical license, by the way, is kaput,
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
expired.
Wow.
But he's saying that Trump aced this cognitive test. So it's just interesting. You have Harris over here with the full transparency.
Total transparency.
And Trump's
Fine.
like, just trust me, I'm good.
Right. It really raises the question, what should voters actually expect from their leaders when it comes to this stuff? Like, how much detail is enough?
That's a good question.
Hmm.
And what are we supposed to make of this whole cognitive test thing? Because he went on CBS recently
Oh, really?
and was basically bragging about how well he did, and then suggested that all presidential candidates should have to take one.
Interesting.
It felt very pointed.
Classic Trump, though, right?
Yeah.
Take something potentially sensitive, flip it around, make it work for him.
Right.
By putting so much emphasis on his mind, he's basically questioning his opponent's mental fitness without actually saying it.
Oh, totally. He's the king of that.
He is.
Like, look at how smart I am.
Exactly.
It's all subtext.
Exactly.
It's like he's trying to turn age into this huge deal.
Right. And that's the really interesting part about this whole strategy he's playing on these existing anxieties that people already have.
Totally.
Without actually coming out and saying it, he's feeding this narrative that maybe Harris at 59, you know,
Right.
wouldn't be as sharp as he is.
Even though he's, what, 78?
Exactly. It makes you wonder.
It's a total distraction tactic.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Because now we're all hung up on cognitive test scores when there are like a million other more important things to be talking about.
1,000,000%. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It shifts the focus away from the real issues.
Right. Like climate change, the economy, healthcare.
Exactly. All the important stuff.
It's like he's turning the whole election into a reality TV show.
You know, in a way, it kind of is. And this is what I find fascinating about this whole thing with health information and campaigns.
Okay. Yeah.
It lets them tap into these really basic fears that everyone has.
Oh, totally.
Fear of getting sick, fear of getting old, fear of the unknown.
So we've got Harris being like super transparent.
Right.
And then Trump's over here with his strategic concealment.
Exactly.
Like the less information he gives, the more power he has.
Right, because then he's the one controlling the story. He's creating this mystery around his health.
Which brings me back to my original question. Like, why is he so afraid to just release his medical records?
Seriously, what's he hiding?
Right. What's the big secret?
We can only guess, of course, but I think his reluctance speaks volumes.
Oh, for sure.
It could be a few things. Maybe there's something in those records that he's worried about, something that could be seen as a weakness.
Oh, definitely.
Something his opponents could use against him.
Especially in this political climate, every little thing gets blown out of proportion.
Right. It's brutal out there.
So I get why he's playing it safe.
Oh, for sure. And especially for someone like Trump.
Who's built his whole image around being invincible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Admitting to any kind of weakness, even something small like a health issue, that's risky for him.
It does make you think, though, how much should we care about a candidate's health? Shouldn't we be more focused on their actual plans for the country?
In a perfect world, absolutely. But realistically, people vote based on all sorts of things. And a candidate's health, how energetic they seem, it all plays a role whether we realize it or not.
Especially with someone like Trump in his late 70s.
Right. Age is definitely something voters think about, and it's totally understandable that they'd have concerns about someone that age handling the presidency.
But this whole thing with Trump and Harris makes me wonder, are we too obsessed with the physical and mental health of our leaders?
It's a good question.
Are we missing the forest for the trees?
Right. We're so busy analyzing medical reports and these test scores that we forget to talk about the issues that actually affect our lives.
Exactly. Like, what are they going to do about the economy? About healthcare? About the climate?
Those are the conversations we should be having.
It's like we're so busy focusing on the drama of it all. Are they healthy? Are they not? That we forget there are actual problems in the world that need fixing.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes this whole discussion about health disclosures so important. It's not just about Trump and Harris, it's about us, you know?
Us, the voters.
Right? Are we paying attention to the right things? Are we demanding more from our leaders when it comes to the issues? Or are we getting caught up in these stories about how healthy they are?
Right. It's like we need to be smarter.
Exactly.
So when we're wading through all of this, all these headlines about medical reports and tests,
Yeah.
what should we be taking away from all of this?
Yeah.
What can we learn from Trump and Harris?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just being aware.
Okay.
Both voters and the media. We can't just take these health reports at face value. We got to ask questions, look at the timing, the source. Is there some kind of agenda here?
We need to be like health detectives.
Exactly. Don't just read the headlines, dig a little deeper, figure out the why.
I like that.
Maybe if we all start doing that, we can start having more honest conversations about health in politics.
Right.
Where it's not a weapon or a bargaining chip, but just one thing to think about when you're choosing a leader.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Right.
A girl can dream. But it seems like for now we're stuck with this whole strategic disclosure thing where everyone's trying to seem invincible.
It's the name of the game.
So where do we go from here? In the age of information overload, how do we make sense of it all?
That is the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think the first step is just recognizing that this is a game.
Okay.
Once we see how health information is being used and misused in politics, then we can start to change the rules.
It's a long shot, but somebody's got to do it.
Right.
Well, folks, there you have it. Another deep dive into the wild world of health, politics, and transparency.
Always a fun time.
It's a conversation that's always relevant, not just during an election.
Absolutely.
Until next time.